CJ Fly back with another YouTube video. Apologies about the last upload. I, for whatever reason, did not have my microphone on, so I'm going to record this one really quickly, just giving my thoughts on the All-Star game and how incredibly awful it was. I did not think it could get any worse, and somehow it did. And if it wasn't for the Dallas Mavericks trading Luka Doncic for the worst return in NBA history with the terrible hit pieces coming out about his character, this would be the worst thing that would have happened this NBA season. But instead, it's the second worst thing that happened. But we're going to talk about it and break it down. So, for those of you that did not pay any attention over the weekend, the All-Star format, the game changed once again. Historically, it's been Eastern Conference All-Stars versus Western Conference All-Stars in a single game regulation time and all the standard rules for an NBA game. Recently, the NBA has been trying different things to kind of engage fans and bring them back to their seats to watch the game. They tried doing like a playground recess style of game where you got like the two most popular players. In the past, it's been like LeBron and Giannis, LeBron and Durant. They're the captains, so to speak, and then they get to, take turns drafting players from the pool of all-stars that year. This year, it's a little bit different. Actually, a lot different. They, instead of doing the single game regulation and everything, 48 minutes of play, split the All-Stars into three separate teams and then had the winner of the Rising Stars game on last Friday night play as a fourth team in what would be a little mini tournament here, a Final Four tournament, if you will, with the teams playing to 40 points. Instead of there being a time limit, it's whoever gets to 40 first wins the game. And so as you can see, they had the three main guys on the Inside the NBA on TNT crew choose players for their teams, and Shaq seemed to take a liking to some of the old school players, if you will, or the more veteran players. They got LeBron, got Durant, got Kyrie, got Curry on this team, James Harden, Damian Lillard, so on and so forth. You got Charles Barkley choosing more of the international stars, and you got Kenny Smith choosing some of the younger all-stars, and then Candace Parker was the GM, so to speak, of the Rising Stars team. Honestly, I don't really mind the format too much, but what became an issue was not so much the format, but first of all, the way the format was marketed and advertised. We got Draymond Green here leading up into the, this was in between games or before games. Draymond is just coming out here and totally trashing the format and then talking smack about the Rising Stars team in particular, saying they already got their shine on Friday. They don't deserve any more of the spotlight on Sunday. Now, if I were the league, I'd be a little bit taken aback because isn't the whole point of All-Star Weekend to kind of showcase the best of the best? And yes, the Rising Stars are not the best of the best, but they're best of the Rising Stars. And so wouldn't you want, give them a little shout out like, hey, they're not there yet, but they're upcoming. So, hey, it's good we get to see them play against the best of the best, but it'll be their turn next. I don't know why we got to, the NBA's just got this huge problem of, in the media of let's just talk trash about our best players. And that's what's happening here. So, it's typical of Draymond, I guess, to talk smack, but I don't know, man. It's not a good look to open things up. Now, format aside, again, I didn't have any issues with the format, so to speak, but the way that the league and TNT took advantage of the fact that there's going to be breaks in between games and timeouts, and oh my goodness, they decided they had to fill in a ton of different events and showcase different things in between these games and during timeouts. The first of which was a segment with YouTuber Mr. Beast. And this one, look, I think it wasn't the worst idea in the world, but it was definitely poor execution. Mr. Beast was filming this thing as if it's for one of his YouTube videos where he can cut out all the dead, uneventful, moments later and then just kind of clip it together into a short and say, oh, shooting for $100,000. Oh, he made it. So what happened was this kid had to make 1 3 from the logo before Damian Lillard made 3 threes from the logo. And every time this kid shot the ball, Mr. Beast would just blurt out, for $100K, for the win, for $100,000, like he would not shut up. every single time this kid shot. And it was very obvious he's just trying to, say something for the moment, to have, when they edit everything together at the end. Which obviously for the folks in the crowd and the people watching on TV, it was just kind of embarrassing to say the least. It's very obvious Mr. Beast doesn't do a lot of these live events as far as entertainment goes. So kind of sad, but we did get that cool moment at the very end where the kid got dunked in $100,000, allegedly a tank of $100,000 bills. And have all the mascots come around and some of the inside the NBA crew. And, that's fine and all. But we're just kind of sitting around just watching these two chuck up shots, and it's not that entertaining. They also had, let me put this later. I want to talk about this in a moment. They also had other events. They had what did they have? They had a concert, which, I was pretty neutral on. They have some of the legendary artists from the Bay Area, given that the All-Star Game is in the Bay Area. I think that's kind of nice. But as far as, the choice of having a concert or not having a concert, it kind of takes away from the basketball part of it, which isn't the whole point, again, of the All-Star Game and the All-Star break, to showcase the best of the best talent in the NBA, not to show a concert. Like, this isn't the Super Bowl, okay? Like, this doesn't have the same draw or the same appeal. So I don't know. I just don't care for it that much for this particular event. The worst part of this, though, is all the ad breaks, numerous ad breaks, to the point where folks in the arena and the players themselves were getting very frustrated, like incredibly frustrated. And then another part of this event that was absolutely atrocious, which they've had this issue in the past, and they didn't bring it back for a while, and they brought it back. I don't know why they brought it back. They had issues with this in the past. Like 10 years ago, I think it was, where you've got these guys on Inside the NBA, and you got these other celebrities coming on the microphone, and they're being put over the PA system in the arena so the players can hear them. And Kevin Hart's out here on the mic just talking absolute trash of everyone, every single player. And again, this event is supposed to brighten up and showcase the best of the best, talk them up, not talk them down. And here we are, Kevin Hart talking trash on SGA and just heavily criticizing him. Kevin Hart, basketball genius, right? So it got to the point, that during this other event and the players are waiting to get the game started, SGA yells at Kevin Hart. He looks irritated and is like, hey, let's get things going. Wrap it up. We have a game. It's to the point, players are told before these games that, hey, you guys need to be competitive. It got to the point that the championship game, they didn't care at all. You could tell that by their body language that they're just like, we're here to get our check and do our job and leave. Like, they didn't care anymore. It was pretty embarrassing for the league, for the players, for everyone involved. And then to top it all off is the championship game, and it wasn't even like a minute or two in, it felt like. The score was like 10-1, and they just abruptly stopped play. Like, it felt very unnatural. And all of a sudden, they do this huge tribute for the Inside the NBA crew with Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny Smith, and Ernie Johnson. And, what I don't understand is, yes, this is the last year TNT has broadcasting rights to the NBA. It's the last year of their deal. They didn't renew, but ESPN's getting the license for their show and for these guys to come on air and speak. So why are we doing tribute for who? Tribute for what? They're going to be around for the next few years at least. Like, what are we doing here? It's just absolutely outrageous. And, Jaylen Brown here is like they had the cameras on the players during the tribute for their reaction. I feel like they were expecting something a little bit more heartwarming. Instead, the players looked really mad because you just stopped the championship game out of nowhere. And Jaylen Brown's like, get him out of here. You can't make this up, man. It's ridiculous. So someone broke down a timeline of all the ads, forget Chain on Reddit, broke down the timeline of all the ads, of all the segments in between, and we ended up with a total of approximately 42 minutes of actual basketball, 80 minutes of ads, and an additional, looks like 22 minutes here of other segments in between. The Inside the NBA tribute that, like I said, was in the middle of the championship game took a whole 9 minutes. There's never been a 9-minute break in the middle of the NBA game outside of halftime. And this was not halftime. This was like, hey, quick timeout. And then all of a sudden, oh, here we go. We got a tribute. Pretty frustrating. Pretty frustrating. And then you see players voicing their opinions after the game, stating, I didn't like the format at all. Even Jason Tatum spoke about it. And he usually shies away from controversial topics from what I've seen. But even he was like, no, this sucks. And the thing is, it's not even like the format really. Draymond Green's case, besides including the rising stars and them not belonging, was the fact that certain records can't be broken or attempt to be broken, as far as like points scored in an all-star game, stats put up in an all-star game. Not that most players really care about that, but for the ones that do, yeah, it kind of sucks. I don't even feel like the players minded the format too much, as they minded the abrupt and unnatural breaks in between play. I think that's the part that's really frustrating, and the fact that they're just getting talked down by all these, talking heads on the PA system. It's like the NBA is like, it's got to be one of the few sports leagues where instead of hyping up your best players, you're constantly bringing them down, especially in the smaller markets. I don't know, man. I'm just losing my mind. Losing my mind from this event. Like I said, if it wasn't for the Luka trade, this might have been the worst thing to have happened yet this NBA season. I'm not even kidding. This thing sucked. I don't even want to watch the NBA All-Star game next year. That's what this did. I don't know how can you, as Adam Silver with a straight face, be like, think, yeah, this was a success. Tell everybody, thanks for doing this. Let's do this again next year. This was awesome. I don't think you can. And these ideas are goofy. You need to cut the ads. I get it. You want ads. You want to raise revenue. If they made money on this thing, they're going to do it again. And that's sad because no one cares about this. No one, not that anyone cared about the All-Star game much before, but man, this is like an embarrassment to the league. I don't think anyone sees this that's new to basketball or is like thinking about following the NBA and is like, oh man, this really gets me pumped up. I really want to watch some NBA games now. I really want to watch these guys go to work. The only highlight that I can think of that was super exciting were the ones involving Kyrie Irving and a couple with Wembanyama. And, they're overshadowed by all this other garbage at the end of the day. So, anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, apologies on the first video for my audio not working. And check one of the videos on your screen now for some more NBA discussion.